Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the This Kinda Girl channel. Today, we are taking a closer look at three different forms of ethically non-monogamous relationships, namely polyamory, open relationships, and swinging. So, if you're feeling a little bit lost about the jargon, maybe you're new in the world of ethical non-monogamy, maybe you're not sure on your relationship style, or maybe you've got, friends, or maybe you've seen this relationship, um, one of these relationship dynamics described on maybe a dating platform, or one of your friends has been talking about it. Today, we are going to explore what each of them is all about, and also we're going to look at some misconceptions that people have as well. Over the last 10 plus years that I myself have been ethically non-monogamous, not only have I explored each of these relationship dynamics, but also in my work as an open relationship and ethical non-monogamy coach, I help couples and single people explore each of these dynamics in a safe and consensual way. If you're curious about how ENM is practiced, I want to understand the nuances, this video is definitely for you. And if you're not sure who I am and what I'm all about, maybe you're new here. My name is Rosie Kay, and I'm an open relationship coach and swinger lifestyle expert. And I teach people, both couples and singles, about how to navigate the world of ethical non-monogamy. I bust myths about the world of swinging and open relationships. And also, I write an awful lot about swinger clubs, about how to get involved in the lifestyle, and the best practices as well. So let's dive straight into today's video, kicking things off with polyamory. So, what is polyamory? Simply put, polyamory is the practice or desire for loving multiple people intentionally and often having long-term relationships simultaneously with the full knowledge and consent of all partners involved. The key here is the word poly, meaning many, and amor, meaning love. Emphasizing emotional connection and often deep romantic bonds with more than one person. These relationships, they can take many forms. They could be a triad, they could be a quad, or they could be a solo person exploring polyamory or participating in polyamory where they don't have a primary um, partner as such, but instead they love, two or three people equally at the same time. So that's a little bit about what polyamory is. I have myself been in relationships with polyamorous people. I am not polyamorous myself. I've tried it. It's not necessarily for me, but I have been in relationships with polyamorous people. And they have, gone on to love other people whilst being with me. And it's not always easy to understand how you can give your consent for that to happen initially. But it is possible. You don't have to be polyamorous to be in a relationship with somebody who is polyamorous. Probably easier if you are. But yeah, it can happen. So the next one, what is an open relationship? Now, I sometimes describe myself as an open relationship coach because a lot of the relationships that I work with, a lot of the people who come to me, they are in open relationships or practicing a form of open relationship. And sometimes I find open relationship is a little bit of an umbrella term because there's lots of different ways that you can practice it. So what is an open relationship? An open relationship typically refers to a primary partnership where both individuals agree to engage in um, intimacy or a romantic relationship with other people outside of their main dynamic, while usually maintaining their primary emotional and hierarchical bond. Think of it as, opening up a pre-existing committed relationship with external connections. So it's not as emotionally involved as polyamory. And instead, it's about maintaining your primary relationship, but enjoying intimacies with other people, but not necessarily emotional intimacies as well. And there may be emotional aspects to the connections and things that you grow with other people, but they're not the dominant force necessarily. The core often is kind of like sexual exploration with other people or intimacy, or kind of more of a casual a casual friendship or a casual relationship with the couple's primary bond maintained throughout. So that's what an open relationship is. There's many different ways to practice open relationships. This is a dynamic that I myself have been in. On, over the years with various people. Probably the most, I want to say, challenging one for me was when I was in an open relationship with a guy, and he was also bisexual, and he had friendships with other people that I was not necessarily part of that, and I wasn't the participating partner. At that time, I wasn't wanting to go and explore things alone or develop kind of connections and relationships with people alone. So I gave my consent for him to go and do that. And that was a really good learning experience for me. And I learned how to do that. And it's definitely something which I help my clients with now as well, because it is difficult to, it can be difficult to kind of sit back and give your partner full consent when you're in no way involved in whatever it is they're doing. But it can be done. So yeah, an example of how an open relationship could play out, but not necessarily. And there's, as I said, there's lots of different types of practicing open relationships, and sometimes both people are active partners, sometimes one person is, sometimes one person is, but maybe they only go to swing clubs, maybe they only meet people in private, or maybe they have a girlfriend or a boyfriend as well as their primary partner, whatever it is. So there's loads of different ways to practice it, that's why it's kind of an umbrella term, I feel, at this point. So moving on, swinging. Swinging is probably the form of ethical non-monogamy that I am most familiar with, and definitely most associated with. I am a swinger, loves and likes, but I write prolifically about swinger clubs, about swinger experiences. I make coaching material. I'm very much involved in the swinger lifestyle, essentially. A lot of people come to me for help navigating the world of swinging. So, what is swinging? Swinging generally involves couples, sometimes singles, engaging in consensual activity with other people, typically as a recreational and often group orientated and social activity. The focus in swinging is primarily on shared sexual experiences that are separate from romantic or deep emotional attachment. This can happen in various settings like designated swinger clubs, private parties, or even one-to-one dates that are explicitly sexual in nature. While friendships can and do develop, the core understanding is that it is purely a sexual experience. Yes, there are emotions involved. Yes, people do build up connections and friendships with other people, but essentially the romantic and emotional relationship is maintained by the couple. People don't start swinging because they're looking to fall in love with other people, or they're looking for emotional connection, or they're looking for a deep bond. Yes, you can have connections with people, and sometimes it's great to build up connection and have friendships and develop connections, and I keep saying the word connections, but develop connections in the scene. But essentially it's never a replacement for what a couple has, and it should never be seen as an alternative form of emotional bond either. Single people can also be involved in the lifestyle. I do a lot of work with single people. I myself have been single in the lifestyle. I make a lot of content for single guys. I work with a lot of single guys because it's very difficult sometimes for single men to be involved. But single men and women are accepted in the lifestyle. They're treated very differently. If you want to find out about what that's like for single people, I've got loads and loads of resources written for single people over on my site, ThisKindaGirl.co.uk, and also in-depth videos and workshops to help you navigate the world of swinging. So that's that. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, there are, of course, misconceptions associated with each of these dynamics. I hear these on a daily basis, and I've chosen 3 of the most popular misconceptions that I hear. And I'm going to share those. Maybe you're familiar with this. Maybe you yourself have one of these misconceptions. Let's dive into it. The first, polyamory. People often think, or people have thought in the past, that it's just an excuse to cheat or avoid commitment. This is something which I hear quite regularly over on my TikTok channel and the comments that people leave. But the reality is that polyamory is built on radical trust, honesty, and consent, and it requires even more communication and commitment to multiple relationships, not any less. So if you have, you know, two or three partners that you're deeply committed to emotionally, physically, that takes a lot of investment on your part, essentially. It takes a lot of communication, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to build up those connections and maintain each connection and each person, maintain each relationship. You don't enter it on a whim, essentially. And it's not just an excuse to cheat or avoid commitment because you're connected and you're committed to each of these different people, essentially. So if you're just looking to cheat or you're just looking to kind of avoid commitment, maintaining two or three different relationships, it's probably not the best way to go, essentially. Number two, mistake about polyamory is that all partners must love each other equally or live together. Reality is that relationships are unique, polyamory structures are diverse, and partners can have different levels of intimacy or involvement. People don't all live together on one big hippie roof, okay? This is another misconception I hear that, it's kind of like a commune and free love and everybody loves each other. No, not at all. You could be married, you could be a couple who are married, and then one of you has an external partner, maybe one of you is bisexual and is also married to a man, but also has a relationship with a woman as well and could be emotionally involved with that woman and deeply committed to her, just as you are the husband. So people find it hypocritical. But that can work for people. You don't necessarily move that woman into the marital home because maybe you have children with the husband. Maybe you have other things going on. Maybe she doesn't want to come and live with you, you know? And it could be that you do love the people equally, but it could be you have a different type of love for your husband and your family, or maybe you have a different type of love for somebody else. So there's loads of different ways, and I think it's very difficult you can't always generalize, essentially. Number three, and this one applies, I think, to all forms of ethical non-monogamy, is that it's easy and free of jealousy. The reality is that, emotions, unexpected emotions, jealous emotions are normal. Polyamory often brings up complex feelings and it requires significant emotional labor and self-awareness to navigate. As I said before, you don't enter it on a whim, I feel. You don't just suddenly decide one day. I think it comes from deep within and it takes an awful lot of work and a lot of self, kind of like critical looking at yourself and reevaluating the type of person that you are and what can you give to your partners? How are you going to complement their lives? What are you going to give to them? What do you offer essentially? What do you offer to each people, and what do they offer you? And do they complement your life? And also now understanding that jealousy and not letting it overwhelm you, because I think jealousy is such a natural human emotion. I think people think that you have to be jealousy free. I'm not jealousy free. And I never will be. And people are very often surprised like that. There are a few things which would make me jealous. Even though I teach people how not to be jealous, I think we can't always be 100% jealousy free. But what we can do is understand it and manage it and not let it get the upper hand. That is what I teach people how to do. Some more misconceptions, so many of these, about open relationships. Number one is that it means your primary relationship is failing or lacking something. Reality is that many strong, loving couples open up their relationship to enhance it. They explore desires, simply because they maybe enjoy variety, not because something is missing. Mistake number two is that there are no rules or boundaries, or that people don't have to have rules or boundaries. I hear this. It does make me raise a red flag when I hear people say that they don't need rules or boundaries. They absolutely do. We all need rules and boundaries in order to be safe on our journeys and in order to ensure that we don't get involved in more than we are comfortable with. Open relationships require detailed boundaries and agreements that are constantly revisited and adjusted. And another one, associated with swinging is, and again, I hear this on my channel, this is why I wrote it down, is that it's a free for all. Swinging is definitely not a free for all. The swinging community emphasizes consent, clear communication, and respect among all participants. Clubs and events often have very strict rules of etiquette. If you've ever been to a swinger club, you will know that the rules of that club are drilled into you the minute you arrive. And any good club or host or organizer always tells people about the rules and the consent. It's not a free for all. You don't simply, you don't go to a swingers club and then you're suddenly paired up with some random person or somebody doesn't take your partner from you. That is absolutely not how it works. It would not be a thing if it did. And two more. Misconceptions about swinging is that it's always about full partner swapping. Absolutely not. If you're familiar with my work, if you've read any of my blogs, if you've watched any of my other YouTube videos, you will know that there's so many different ways to get involved in the swinger lifestyle. From so Another popular misconception about the swinger lifestyle is that it automatically leads to jealousy and heartbreak. Now, I know we spoke about jealousy a few minutes ago. And while these emotions do arise, many couples learn to process them, practice compersion, which is joy when you see your partner experiencing joy, and it strengthens their primary bond through shared exploration and shared honesty as well. It's not to say that being ethically non-monogamous isn't without heartbreak, isn't without jealousy, isn't without negativity. It's all about the journey. It's all about finding your own path and navigating it and understanding it and growing as people. You may form great connections with another couple and you may really, really get on with them and wanting to meet up and play with them and think finally you've struck swing of gold and you meet up with them a few times and then all of a sudden they ghost you and they completely disregard you for whatever reason. You don't ever find out why that is, and that can be that can be really upsetting for people because it can be so hard to build up connections sometimes. And also, jealousy, it does occur. We can't turn it off, but what we can do is learn to navigate each situation as it presents itself to us as well. So, there's a few of the misconceptions that people have about the world of ENM and each relationship dynamic. But it wouldn't be a Rosie K video without me sharing some top tips for you as well. So if you want to explore one of these dynamics, maybe you're curious about it, maybe you're, thinking that maybe that's the right type of relationship for you, here are three top tips. The first, and this will come as no surprise, is communicate, communicate, and then communicate some more. This is always the bedrock, regardless of whatever relationship you have, even in monogamous relationships as well. The more communication you have, the better your experiences will be, regardless of your relationship type. Before, during, and after any exploration, talk openly and honestly about desires, boundaries, fears, and feeling. Assume nothing and discuss everything. And I think it's really important to point out that even if you're simply talking about a fantasy with your partner, or maybe you're looking online together for the first time, maybe you've opened up a swingers website, maybe you're watching a YouTube video, maybe you're reading a blog, maybe you're looking on the swinger dating site together. It's really good to kind of recap and have a conversation about how that both made you feel, your thoughts about whatever it is you've just experienced, whatever you've just read, whoever you've just spoken to. Never just kind of assume, and whatever activity it is you've done, whether you've done one of these things, always communicate and talk about how you felt afterwards. It's so important. Number two is start slow and small. You don't need to dive headfirst into the deep end. Begin with conversations, maybe explore online communities and attend maybe a social event or something like that. Set simple boundaries for your first experience and allow yourselves to adjust emotionally. Maybe you're going to go on a vanilla date with another couple. Maybe you're going to go to a swinger social. Maybe you're going to chat to people online. Maybe you're going to, go to a club but not actually do anything. The slower you take it, the better your experience will be. And number three is prioritize your primary connection. If you're in a primary partnership, continue to nurture that bond. Schedule dedicated us time with your partner is so important, and keep checking in with them frequently and ensure that your core relationship feels secure and maintained and prioritized throughout the exploration process. One concern I hear, especially from women, is that they are worried they're going to be overlooked as soon as they enter the world of swinging, and that they will be disregarded, or that their relationship will no longer be, you know, they'll not be valued within their relationship. So it's really important to nurture your relationship and grow that relationship and strengthen it, because you cannot have ethical non-monogamy unless you work to maintain that relationship as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This quick breakdown of polyamory, open relationships, and swinging. And while they all have different focuses, they all fall under the umbrella of being ethically non-monogamous relationships that all emphasize consent, communication, and respect for all. This world of ethical non-monogamy is very diverse, and it's full of different possibilities for connection, self-discovery, and of course, incredible experiences as well. If you are hungry for more, if you're curious about this world of ethical non-monogamy, if it's got you thinking, I wonder what's out there for me, you may be interested to know that you can dive into my personal stories, my in-depth guides, my exclusive insights into navigating each of these journeys. And you'll find all of that and more in my thriving TKG Club community. All you have to do is visit my site, ThisKindaGirl.co.uk. You will find all of the links below, of course, and come and join us over in TKG Club. You can read about each experience that I have had, different relationships I've been in, my kind of like my insights, my thoughts on each, and also there's loads of different stuff about different ways to practice relationships, different things that you may be interested in. I can't talk too explicitly on YouTube because my videos get censored or banned, as I found out many times before. But yeah, if you want the real nitty gritty, come over and find me in TKG Club. Thank you so much for watching. It has been an absolute delight to be here with you all today, and I hope to see you all next time.